the northerners should go on their own, the southerners should go. We have already intermarried, we have stayed together for years, and there is strength in unity. But they have to, federals to delegate more power to each of the geopolitical zones, so that whatever is coming as resources from your place, you are allowed to at least manage it just as they are doing in the United States of America. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Let's appreciate him more. Bayo Adelabu.
Thank you very much. If I got it correctly, we have 3 questions to respond to. The first question from Dr. Bayo from University Press PLC has to do with our understanding of restructuring. There are 2 basic drivers of restructuring from my personal understanding. The first is devolution of powers, while the second is fiscal federalism. Devolution of power has to do with what are the areas where each of the level of government have powers to administer. We have the exclusive legislative list, we have the concurrent, and we have the residual. The exclusive is basically for federal government, those items and those sectors of government: currency, defense, foreign relations, and so on and so forth. We have the concurrent legislative list, which is a combination of state government and federal government: education, housing, agri, and so on and so forth. And we have the residual, which is for state government and local government. What I'm saying now is that the government, federal government, has too much exclusivity treated to anything that has to do with our territorial integrity, which is defense, currency, and foreign relations. What are they doing with education? Every state can have its educational structure and program. What are they doing with housing? What are they doing with agriculture? Every land belongs to a state, to a local government, and to a ward. Nothing should even belong to the federal government. That is why we are saying that when it comes to road construction, there should not be anything like federal roads. Road belongs to states, and where a road traverses 2 or 3 states, they should be shared among those states and allow them to maintain the roads. Same thing with schools, same with agriculture, because through that government will be brought closer and nearer to the people, to the government. The second is the fiscal federalism. Every state needs to eat according to what they generate. This current era of relying on federal government allocation is killing the states and the revenue generation powers of those states. Whatever we have to generate, a portion of it should be sent to the federal to maintain central government, and let the state spend the bigger portion of it. That's the only way we can actually develop. This happened before when we had regional government. Cocoa revenue was used to build OAU, cocoa house, and so many like that. Same with the east and the north. The second question, sorry about that, has to do with what to do to bring back the farmers. There are so many things. I mentioned it before. Starting with land clearing. That's the greatest difficulty farmers face. You need to help them to clear the land, especially in this part of the country where our vegetation has so many big trees. Number 2 is irrigation. Number 3 is preservation and provision of agri automated implements from the planter, ridge maker, harvester, and all that. Then the most important thing is to protect the pocket of the farmers, which is through price control and commodity or produce board, whereby they can be guaranteed revenue on a year-to-year basis, and the farmers will remain in business. Then lastly, brain drain. The major cause, the general cause is insecurity, like my colleague said here. Nobody wants to thrive in an unsafe and insecure environment. Then we should provide security. We must engage the youths, give them vocational education, and give them education that will make them employ themselves after school. Then provide ready facilities. Then the last one is ICT engagement. through information and communication technology, a lot of our youth and young boys, they can be converted positively and be productive to society. Thank you very much.
Thank you. To Barrister Makinde.
That is what is causing a lot of problem. Now, I would suggest that we go back to the regional governments so that there can be meaningful competition between the regions. As I have put it, before we had 3 regions, now we can have 6 regions with a lot of all these things in the exclusive list distributed to the regions. Then the regions should have their own constitution, just as we had in the First Republic, so that the constitution of Southwest will be different from the constitution of Southeast. Then the form of government we want in the Southwest will be different from the form of government they want in the Southeast or in the North Central or South. Each region will now plan its own government in accordance with its needs, in accordance with its developmental goals. If you look at Southwest, we were going at an astronomical rate during the First Republic before we all came back to this federal system of 12 states and then 19 states and 36 states. So I would suggest a regional government with each region having its own constitution, so that the center, it is the regions that will be contributing to the center and not the center contributing to the regions. Let each region manage its own resources the way it deals with and pay it. So what the center should do should just be concentrated on currency, should be concentrated on territorial integrity, should be concentrated on foreign affairs. Beyond that, everything should go to the regions. In the regions, you find out that this federalism has not really allowed a lot of developments to come up in the states. For instance, Southwest now has how many governors, how many commissioners of education, how many commissioners of finance, how many commissioners of this and that, and all the aids and so on and so forth. Now, on brain drain, I will a little bit disagree that it is the insecurity that is causing the brain drain. I remember that there was serious brain drain during Abacha's era, when at that time, of course, there was insecurity, but the major problem was the economic indices. I fled Nigeria too in 1997. I got to Liberia. There was war just ending in Liberia. I was ready to stay there if I could make money. In all the countries where they have wars, the people are going there. They are moving from their own safe haven and moving to the war zone if they know that they can make money from the war. So it is not the insecurity that is causing the brain drain. It is the economic indices. And the only thing you can, for instance, when a medical doctor cannot afford the little things that a primary school teacher was affording in those days, of course he will want to leave, not because of the insecurity, but because his worth was not being paid for. So I would now, but at the same time, the issue of security can be divided into two. One is the city. So you have a question. Okay. Then, but then, like somebody mentioned the issue of drones. That is what is supposed to be used, especially in those farmlands where we have somebody here who can do that, where you can use the drones to trace all those hazards or those causing problem and have Amotekun. The constitution of the Amotekun presently cannot solve the security issues that we have in all those farmlands. No, it cannot. And you have to bring in the locals before you can really achieve.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Honorable Akim Yusuf.
Yes.
You would do 2 things. When you were making in your presentation the other time, we didn't know you, but you didn't tell us who you are. So in 2 minutes, tell us who you are and answer the questions.
Thank you very much, sir. Like I said, my name is Akim Yusuf, the governorship candidate of the Action Democratic Party. I'm an indigene of Ibadan, but I'm a half caste because my mother is from Ijebu. So I'm a half caste, half Ibadan, half Ijebu. I attended my primary and secondary schools in Ibadan, Sacred Heart Private School on Engr there, Government College Ibadan. I have a first degree in political science from the University of Ibadan in 1988. I have 2 master's degrees from the University of Ibadan, one in industrial and labor relations, one in business administration. I'm a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Bankers. I was a banker for 25 years, and I'm also an alumnus of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies. I was the pioneer special advisor to the Governor of Oyo State on due process in 2005. I was the pioneer managing director and CEO of Skybank Gambia Limited, where I had the privilege of solving some of the problems that barrister had saw in that country. I set up the first mechanized agricultural farm in the country, and today I also was instrumental to the construction of the petroleum towers in that country.
No clapping, no yelling.
2 reasons why I decided to involve myself in politics. One, when I was in the Gambia, a young Nigerian called me aside one day and said,
2 minutes.
All these things you are doing for this country, you have to go back to Nigeria and do it. Then secondly, one of our elders in the state called me recently and said, people like you should be in politics and stop being in the private sector. So after running away for many years, I decided to be. So that is in a nutshell. And by God's grace, I'm going to be the pioneer Action Democratic Party Governor of Oyo State on May 29, 2023.
No clapping, no yelling.
Clap for me after the program so that I won't be penalized. On restructuring, my belief is that a just, fair and equitable Nigeria will always be more desirous than anything else. The major problem we have today, like my colleagues have said, is an excessive concentration of powers on the central government. So we need devolution. The federal government is saddled with too many things that have absolutely no business doing. Sports, education, agriculture, culture, those are things that the federal government should not be involved in. And at the same time, while we talk of the federal and the state, we also look at the restructuring from the perspective of the state government. We have to look at local government autonomy. It is part of the restructuring. We have to look at the autonomy of our state legislatures, the houses of assembly, the state judiciary. We have to include that in the restructuring process, because democracy cannot survive if the legislature and the judiciary are not autonomous and checking executive powers. On brain drain, while security is an issue, the most important issue in brain drain is the lack of legitimate opportunities, the insufficiency of legitimate opportunities, the non-fulfillment, the lack of fulfillment in the practice of professions. So while we are creating jobs, while we're supporting the private sector to create employment, because government will not be the one to create employment, we also must be able to ensure that people have the facilities to work. Let doctors have well-equipped hospitals. Let teachers have fulfillment on the job. Those are the only ways we can stem the brain drain. There must be jobs, there must be good quality jobs, there must be legitimate opportunities for advancement. On farming, the first thing we have to do is we have to raise the caliber of farming. We have to take agriculture, we have to raise farming to the level of agriculture, to agropreneurship. We must ensure that it is an economic sector, that our farmers are able to make very good income from their farms. How do we do that? Increase their acreage, put in mechanization support. What are the mechanization supports? Like some of us have said, in land clearing, in land preparation, irrigation, storage, even harvesting, processing, storage. Agro-processing, we have to put that there. And we have to put suburban security, agro-community security. And that is why we have to do cluster production. So that when we are producing in cluster, when we put our farmers, agropreneurs, I don't want to call them farmers, when we put them in locations together, then we can put security support, like my colleague has said about Amoteco, to actually back them up and protect them on the farmlands. Thank you.
Thank you so much. LP candidates. Honorable Taofeek Akinwale.
Thank you very much. The issue of restructuring, I think when you are talking about restructuring, we are talking about constitutional matter. Nobody can restructure the country without having constitutional backing. And currently, our constitution is under review. And these states have sent their contribution. So whatever will be the outcome of it, we will be talking about it thereafter, about restructuring. However, I want to say that whether we structure or not, what we are lacking in Nigeria is about establishing institutions that will last an administration. The institution of the country must be the reference point. We shouldn't have reference to what we call regime or administration of a particular person. So if Nigeria is institutionalized and we ensure that we address strictly to all this, this will enhance us the desired results by the grace of God. The second one on the issue of dream. Ordinarily, people are leaving the country almost all the time. It's not particularly about this period, and it's only that we take notice of them now because of the insensitiveness of the government to our security, as well as the
NNPP gubernatorial candidates.
NNPP government, we are going to encourage farming, we are going to encourage agriculture, we are going to support all that will make food to be available in the state. And not only that, we are going to still encourage whoever is interested in doing farming in form of agribusiness. And with that, we are going to take our youth out of the street. So if each local government is encouraged to go into serious agriculture, I'm sure minimum of 3,000 per local government will be gainfully employed. So that will give us like an average of 100,000 youth that will be employed during the administration of NNPP in Oyo State. And that will go a long way. So we will make sure we encourage them to do that, and that will create jobs. We talk of ICT, we are going to provide ICT hub in each of the senatorial districts where our youth will be able to learn how to do a lot, whether robotic, whether scanning, all sort of ICT that are in vogue globally. We are going to make sure they train our youth so that they will be gainfully employed. So government will support them with a little assistance like provision of a laptop. So youth will be gainfully employed. In agriculture, we have created 100,000. ICT, let's say average of 200 per each local. 200 per each local government. So that will give us like 63,000 if I'm not mistaken. Multiple taxes. I don't know when this August body held meeting with the state government last. So during our own administration, we will not be far away from people. We will not distance ourselves from people. We are going to be holding meetings regularly, and then the issue of taxes will be discussed holistically. So it's not something I will tell you, I will do this, I will do that. I will know what it entails. I will know what you are paying for. I will know the one that you are supposed to pay for, and the one that is not part of the constitution that you are not supposed to pay for. But it has to be the two-way system. You will be there, we will discuss it together, and we will see. So that's the way our own administration will handle the issue of multiple taxes. Then the issue of industrialization. The major thing that is killing our industry, or that makes us not to have working industry, is the issue of power. NNPP has been discussing with some people to see that we have independent power plants where we can generate electricity. Other states have done it, and I believe it can be done in some area. We have gas that we are flaring here and there that we are not using, so that gas can be converted into energy apart from solar energy. All this will help our company and industry to grow. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Accord party candidate.
Thank you very much. The three questions, I will start from the issue of how do we stop criminality and youth unemployment. I believe that we have drivers for employment creation during our 4 years reign, and what we have targeted is minimum of 1,000 jobs per local government, which is 33,000. to 2,000 jobs per local government, which is 66,000. And the drivers we have picked are, number one, we have picked the issue of establishment of farm cities that we believe is going to be attractive to our youth to join the farm cities, 2 local, 1 in Maraba during our tenure. Number 2 has to do with sanitation inspection, employment of sanitary inspectors, traffic controllers, teaching staff, and health personnel. And lastly, road and housing construction projects. All these are going to employ our youth. We are going to create nothing less than 66,000 jobs at the end of our administration in 4 years. Number 2, the issue of multiple taxation. I can tell you that being a part of business owner in Oyo State, I'm also a victim. It is so frustrating, and it's not helpful for industrialization and business development. It kills businesses. Being a tax consultant and a tax expert myself, I frown at it. I believe in expanding the base, the tax base, rather than increasing number of taxes or increasing tax rates. That will not help us as a state. What we are going to do is for the state to look for viable means of raising revenue rather than focusing on taxation, which is quite.
We are going to go back to those industrial production zones. We are going to have economic production zones. We have to revive as many of these industries as possible, because apart from the infrastructure in those areas, you also have dead industries. And if we do not bring them back, and that will lead me to the third question of unemployment, we have to bring back industrialization and agro-processing. We have to bring back agriculture, take agriculture to a higher level, because that is how we are going to create jobs. People will say that government has no business in business, but government has a primary responsibility to stimulate business. And an ADP government is going to work with the organized private sector to stimulate the private sector, expand opportunities so that we can create jobs. And part of what we are going to do is drive infrastructure in the direction of production. Infrastructure must go in the direction of production, because it is you, people of the organized private sector, that are actually going to be bringing in the revenues that are going to provide infrastructure for the other people of the state. So if you are the cows that are going to be milked, we have to make sure that you are living in air-conditioned farms so that you can be giving us very good quality milk. In the area of multiple taxation, it is honestly, it's something I've lived through, it's something I've seen, and it is something I know. And like I said before, an ADP government is not going to increase taxes, one, because we do not believe in taxing companies to death, which is what government does in Nigeria. We have to actually look at all these taxes and cut off the ones that need to be cut off. Increase the tax, widen the tax net, not increase the tax incident. We have to widen the tax net, bring in the informal sector, and we have to bring in the informal sector in innovative ways. And the innovative ways they are going to be coming in, they are going to be paying for the services that they enjoy. So it's not going to be like, oh, you have to pay X tax for doing this. Maybe we are going to do things like road tax for private sector users, or if you are doing this kind of business because government provides this. But we must keep encouraging providers of employment, which the industry.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yes. Let me start with the unemployment. You see, the problem with our government and taxation, the problem with our governments is that they do not invest in anything that will bring them money or that will put support to the economy. Rather, they milk the industries, they milk the individuals, and they call it increasing IGR. I was of the opinion that IGR that was increased in time of our law was in the industries that they created. In 4 years, IGR was able to create 8 industries in Oyo State, though they became vulnerable because of mismanagement. Now, I was the one that led the team, Oyo State team, to China in 2006 for us to over this free trade zone. We had already acquired land between Kurumaraji and the boundary with Oyo State. So we are going to bring back that free trade zone business. And one of the things that the Chinese entities that we contracted with wanted to do was production of electricity. The moment you have electricity at affordable rates, most of these industries that are moribund will spring up again. But because after I left government, that government for petty reasons did not pursue issue of free trade zone. And so I am going to pursue it again and ensure the conclusion of making sure that we have the free trade zone in Oyo State. And on multiple levels, I'm a lawyer, I've had causes to even on my personal basis sue the state government on some of these levels, and I've won so many of these cases on me because most of them are not backed by law. Most of the stuff that people don't want to challenge the government, most of them are not backed by law. I have had cause to challenge the government on so many of these taxes and so many of these levels, and I've won for companies, for individuals, and so on and so forth. Now, on the industrialization, like unemployment, free trade zone, the target at the time was 33,000 youths was to be consumed by the free trade zone. 33,000, well, that was our proposal, that was our project, our projection at that time. If we do that one today and bring out even 15,000 to those industries, you know that industries will always multiply itself on services.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Next is Honorable Taufik Akinwale, Labour Party gubernatorial candidate. If you become the governor of Oyo State, how many employment are you going to create in your first 1 year in office?
Thank you very much. I am a technocrat, I'm a civil servant. I know within the government sector there are so many employments that will be created. I observed, I don't want to say so many things here because there are so many vacancies that are being filled by ghosts, and I can assure you I am even getting to know like almost 1,000 vacancies in all the ministries. As a civil servant, I know exactly what I'm saying. I know some people will sit up if somebody like me becomes the governor and I will block leakages. So within the ministries, there are various vacancies. There are ghost workers. I will ensure that I fish them out. So 1,000 I promise the state, to fill up all the ministries. That's one. Two, like I mentioned earlier on, I talked about the science laboratory centers across 6 geopolitical zones. We are going to employ people to all these centers, starting from science laboratory scientists, administrator, security, and the dietitians too. Because many times when you get tested, you don't need to take drugs. You need to attend to a dietitian that will just tell you, take this food, then you'll be alright. I want to set an example.
In Lagos State, they kill 8,000 cows every day. In Oyo State, they kill 3,000 cows every day. If Oyo State can supply just 2,000 cows on a daily basis, together with the private business owners, it will be average of 50,000 per cow, which is 100 million naira revenue to Oyo State. 3 billion in 1 month and 36 billion in a year if we go into livestock alone as a state. And we have the environment, we have the climate where we can actually do cattle rearing. So we look for alternative sources of making money. Then in terms of plan for industrialization, there are 2 things we are looking at. The major problem why all our old companies in Ibadan, why they actually faded away, was energy. A lot of them had energy crisis. And what caused it? The gas plant that was coming from Niger Delta terminated at Shagamu. We need to extend it to Ibadan so that a lot of our companies can have energy. And secondly, we need to look at agro-allied. We have fruits, cashew, mango, oranges, no fruit juice manufacturing company. We have cocoa, we are not manufacturing chocolate here. We have cassava, we don't manufacture ethanol. So we should be focused on agro-allied industries and we will make money. There are times we have solid minerals, we have marble at Betty, we don't manufacture tiles, we don't manufacture sanitary wares. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's give them a round of applause. We are gradually coming to the end of the program. I want to especially recognize the media people in this hall. We have the NTA, we have the Nigerian Tribune, we have Punch newspaper, we have AM, radio and TV. We have...
Because they are called vegans to political theory. I don't know, how will you, when you have been put in place, how will you cope all this situation?
The first thing about security, sincerely, I'll tell you, is the body language of the leadership in the states. If the body language of leadership in the states condones insecurity, there will be insecurity. But if it condemns it, there will not be insecurity. There will be adequate security of lives and property. Because this is the main reason why government was formed ab initio, to safeguard the security of lives and properties of the people. Security across Nigeria has been experiencing great challenge in the past decade. But during the era of former Governor Ajimobi, we were able to protect Oyo State. And my humble self was the chairman of Oyo State Security Trust Fund. And we know how we handled the issue of security. And there was peace and tranquility across Oyo State, in all the zones, from Ibadan, inner city to Ibadan, outer city, to Oyo, to Ibarakwa, to Ogbomoso, to Okiogun. There was peace and tranquility. But suddenly, we found ourselves here,
what happened. We are saying that, number one, community security awareness is paramount. Number two, the welfare of the security personnel is also key. And the equipment they work with, the vehicles, the ammunitions, and the other security equipment. And again, we had life insurance for the security personnel, and they were able to give their best to the job at that time. If anything happens to them, their family will not lose completely. And if there were injuries sustained, they will be trained, they will be treated promptly. And we said ICT-driven security is also very key. We have CCTV all over your state there. If anything is happening far away, you'll be able to detect it via the CCTV, and you'll be able to mobilize security operatives to attack it immediately. Once an offender knows that he will be caught, it's a disincentive for you to commit crime. But that does not exist any longer. That's what we have here today. And there was funding from everywhere, from the organized private sector, from the industry, even from government parastatals. They were giving us support. But today, there's nothing like that. So what we have presently is no surprise to everybody.
Alright, sir, just one question, very quick question. Do you think your fallout from the upper West will affect your chances?
No way, it will never. We have better chance than when we were even in APC. Accord is a more acceptable party.
That's the story.
Yes. It's a more acceptable party.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Politics is greater than economy. If you don't get your politics right, you can never get your economy right. And so we need to ask from these people, we need to know what they have for us. And that's the whole essence of organizing this particular event. And we are happy that it was a very successful event. We invited 7 candidates, including PDP and APC, but 5 candidates showed up. And that gives us a good mark for what we have done today. So we are very happy. And we want to appeal to the media organizations too, because you are supposed to set agenda for the public. Ensure that you also contribute your quota and set agenda for the public, because we own Nigeria together, not just the politicians that own Nigeria. All of us own Nigeria, and we must work assiduously to ensure that this Nigeria becomes what it should be in terms of economy, in terms of better life for all of us.
Alright, just one question for you, sir. We know having this kind of debate, a lot of them, does it really work? Because I was listening to an audio in Chatham House in 2015. He said almost everything he said, he did not say anything. So what's the essence of a debate like this when at the end of the day they only read out scripts and they end up not doing anything?
You know, this is coming from the business community. We don't joke with anything that we do, because we are the driver of the economy. We don't joke with it. And as a matter of fact, we must make these people accountable for everything they say while they are campaigning. So all these things that have been done today have been recorded, and we will mark them according to what they said today, because we need to move Nigeria forward. The way Nigeria is not good for all of us, including the politicians. So all of us must ensure that we make them to account for everything they say. You as media people, you should be able to quote them. You should be able to refer to what they said today if they are doing otherwise. Because we own Nigeria together, and we must make sure that Nigeria reaches the height that everybody desires in the country.
Governments of the state, make sure your members are mobilizing the members of the public to vote for you. Articulate our thoughts, what we want to do for the people, like we've just done with the Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and then look up to the people to make the right decisions.
All right, how many candidates do you have in the House of Assembly?
We have 27 out of the 32 State Assembly seats filled.
27 out of 33. So
Out of 32, we have 32 seats.
All right, you think that's strong enough?
That's strong enough.
Really?
Yeah.
So tell us something that you would do differently from this present
What we're going to do differently is that we're going to give Oyo State full good governance, accountability, transparency, a sense of responsibility, democratic government, rule of law. We're going to put that. And we're going to place emphasis on youth unemployment. And that is going to be done in conjunction
and by stimulating the private sector to create employment for the youth, because that is the most critical problem. When we talk about insecurity in Nigeria, the insecurity is a function of the fact that we have too many idle hands, and we have to ensure that we engage as many of those idle hands as possible. Government cannot employ everybody. The private sector employs far more people than government. So we have to keep stimulating the private sector to be able to create more jobs, and then we can now go to the, after we have treated the symptoms of insecurity, then we can now go to the security architecture, what we are going to be doing to the police. But we are not going to start by arresting and detaining and fighting crime if we are not creating alternatives, legitimate alternatives of what our youth are going to be doing.
So a final question, hooliganism is one that is known for Oyo State. I'm not like to mention this particular, you already understand what I'm saying. So how would you deal with them in Oyo State?
How we're going to deal with that is, one, my party and I, Action Democratic Party, stand for peace, and we're not going to be involved in any elements of hooliganism. Two, all the candidates about 2 Fridays ago, we signed a peace accord, which we as Action Democratic Party strongly believe in and are totally going to abide by. And I'm going to urge all the citizens of the state, especially parents, please guide our youth. The governance of Oyo State is not worth the blood of any citizen. What we want, that we can't make progress, we can't have development if we do not have peace. So hooliganism is a no in the next elections.
I appreciate all the contestants that are here. They have treated the topic from many angles, and if only we can take part of the angles at the practical stage, everything will be fine. I wish you very well in the competition and pray that everything will go in peace in the name of Christ Jesus. Amen.
Baba follow Chief Ogunaiki, former Monsieur Ogunaiki, follow.
Thank you very much. Mine is not a question, but just an advice. We have seen you are all love peace-loving citizen, but you have followers. Out of 12 disciples of Jesus Christ, one of them happen to be Judas. As far as you are concerned, we have no problem with you. But our appeal to you is to make sure you appeal to your followers to be peace-loving as you yourself are peace-loving. Let them realize that one can only achieve what God has ordained him to achieve, become what God has ordained him to become. Therefore, they should not see an election matter as do or die affairs. Let them realize that we are writing history in this earth. On earth we are writing history, and whether we like it or not, whatever we put into history shall be recorded against us now and in future.